I want to share with you the moment that I realized I had to step up and really start to make a difference. The moment that I realized that waiting for outside solutions to fix our mental health crisis just wasn't working, and that we as a community really held the power to create something better. Now, my passion for mental health started with my own battle against depression. I really learned firsthand how challenging it is to ask for help. So, the first time I went to a doctor, I very much wore a mask. The second time, I really downplayed it. The third time, I'm not really sure if I asked at all. And it actually took me 4 tries before I finally let the doctor actually in and allowed the doctor to see the real me. And for anyone who knows, I am not shy of speaking up. But the thing is, that really concerned me because if it was that hard for me, someone who is confident, someone who is good at talking, how many others are suffering in silence, unable to really break through and ask for the support that they need? Now, then my son started struggling at just the age of 11, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. As a mother, that absolutely broke my heart. But now, as a deputy at a deputy principal at a school, I knew how to advocate for support. But the thing is that the closest counsellor was 2 hours away, and that was 2 hours each way. So that was the moment I stopped waiting and I actually started to question the system. That was the moment I really started to ask, why don't we have local solutions? Why are people having to fight so very hard to get help? And why are we relying on generic, one size fits all, top down solutions? But the real light bulb moment for me came in my role as a deputy principal at a school. I was responsible for student wellbeing and behaviour, and it was very apparent to me, due to my own experiences, that there was a very strong link between mental health and behaviour. The kids struggling were often the ones acting out, but they were also the ones that were withdrawing. And they were seeking attention in various ways. You know, the ones that seemed fine until suddenly they just weren't. But every time I identified a student in need, I faced the same roadblock. You know, there was nowhere to send them. And to compound that, there was limited opportunities in my community for belonging and connection in the small rural town that I lived in, other than sport. Now, as I felt that frustration, I was also in my role connecting with our local health providers, with our local police, and with sporting groups about these very kids. And the thing is that they were noticing very similar issues. And what became really apparent is that we were all trying to address mental health and behaviour from different angles, whether it was awareness, whether it was prevention, whether it was intervention, support, or crisis. We were trying to do all of it, and yet none of us were actually working together on it. Now, why was that? Because we were stuck in our silos, each of us tackling one small piece of a much bigger problem and a much bigger puzzle. And the system just really wasn't designed for rural communities like ours. And that's when I had a really radical thought. I started to think, what if instead of waiting for generic solutions to come to fix the problems, what if we built the solutions ourselves? What if we stopped working in silos and stopped working in isolation and actually started using the strengths that were already present in our town and our local area to create common sense solutions that actually took into consideration the local constraints and the local context, and create something that was real and was lasting and that just wouldn't come and go. And so I took a leap. I gathered people from across my community, health professionals, educators, police, business owners, sporting group people, community group members, people who also felt passionate, and we built something together. And at the time, I created my first ever Community Wellbeing Action Team. And it was designed to not just address the gaps, but actually to rethink the way that mental health and connection were supported across our town. And from that small idea, big things grew. We didn't just improve belonging and connection for youth. We didn't just create more local support. We actually built a community wellbeing plan that changed the way our entire town approached mental health. We secured over $750,000 worth of funding for a town of just 2,000 people. But here's the thing, I didn't want to just stop there because I just began to feel so strongly that this isn't just about my town. This is about every rural community and every community that can take ownership and actually create solutions from within. This is about every passionate person who sees the cracks in the system and wants to do something about it. This is absolutely about you. If you're frustrated by solutions that don't work, if you're tired of waiting for someone else to step up, and if you know deep down that you were meant to make a difference, I want you to know this. You absolutely can. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have a title or a degree in mental health. You just need the drive to create change and a proven process to support you to make it happen. Now, if you're ready to take that first step, but you just don't know how to get started, I've created a free community wellbeing changemaker guide that answers the top 10 questions I get asked all the time about how to make this happen. You can absolutely grab your free copy in the link below, or you can DM me guide and I will send it straight to you. And it's the perfect place to help you get started if you feel this passion and this frustration just like I did. I want to help you and every person living in a rural community around Western Australia, Australia, and the world so that we can stop watching the mental health statistics and we can finally start changing them.